Here we go again. We're going to go ahead and count down and then start. Unless, do you got anything, Dan?
No, I'm good.
All right, then. Shake my sillies out. Okay. I was listening to some Eye of the Tiger, but I got started so late I couldn't finish it.
Rising up.
Yeah. I got to well, basically the being in the chorus. And I was like, all right, well, time to go. So anyways, 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, here we are yet again. We're like a fucking foot fungus. We will not go away. You think we're gone, and then we're back a week later. You use all kinds of antiseptic and antibiotics, and yet 7 days later we show up again.
Hell with that Lotrimin.
Yeah, we are that monster, the athlete's foot monster. That's us. We're back again with another interview from an awesome dad. This one, his name is Bobby Dahl, and he is from the good old South of USA and beyond that. I really don't know, but we're going to throw it to him, and he's going to give us an intro and tell us everything we do need to know. So take it away, Bobby.
Oh yeah, coming from South America, live from
Hey, I was almost like South of America.
live from Brazil. This is almost, I'm gonna switch to Portuguese now.
Well,
No, I'm from Huntsville, North Alabama. But yeah, I'm Bobby Dahl, Bobby Dahl. Bobby Dizzle is what I go by on my professional name, host of the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast with Bobby Dizzle, BobbyDizzle.com for everybody who wants to check it out. And I'm a father of 3. Love talking about paranormal junk, science stuff. Big 90s movie reference guy, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah.
Jack of all trades.
Yes.
I love country music. Love gangster rap. I like to go outdoors, hike a lot, fish a lot, drive a truck, talk about Bigfoot, and of course, coffee.
Yes.
That's my lifeblood. That's why I call it the Caffeinated Cryptid, because it turned into me doing a podcast about everything to doing a podcast where I just sit and just like get lambasted on coffee and talk about Bigfoot like some kind of Alex Jones wannabe. Turning the frogs, bravo.
Hey, you know when you're passionate about something, it really doesn't matter.
No.
It's fun for
I
you.
start talking about Bigfoot and get sick to my stomach. I get so excited about it. I don't know why. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
That's crazy. I guess maybe I have something like that in my life, but I don't know. Anyways, 3 kids. How old are they?
We got a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and they all act like they're 20.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Mine is just about to turn 2. Dan's just turned 3. So we'll definitely have a couple of questions to throw your way.
Those are fun ages. You can really mess with them at that age.
Yep. You can trick them.
It's fun-ish.
The T-Rex.
As I mentioned
Oh
earlier,
yeah.
Mine is he's hit that meltdown stage. So that's fun. That's good.
That's why I said better you than me.
Yeah. I just kind of stand there and watch it and let him do his thing and try not to.
Have you ever tried the look, there's a bird, look, there's a dinosaur? Get them to stop it?
No, I have not. Has that ever worked?
Try it next time they're melting down and act like you're not paying attention, like something's distracting you. So, oh my God, there's a cow outside. Look at there, Jacob. And sometimes it'll work. Like where? And by the time they figure out there's no cow, meltdown's over.
Yeah, I just wrote that down. I'm definitely gonna have to use that one.
Just something like a bird. Like, oh my God, what is that? Just act like they're meltdown. Just a meltdown ain't shit. It's oh my gosh, T-Rex outside, Velociraptor in the garden.
Velociraptor. That's awesome. I will have to try that one.
You got to do it, especially when you're like, sweet mother of God, shut up.
Yeah, because sometimes like not to rear this back away from you, but sometimes he just will not he will not be pleased. He doesn't. He'll be like, oh, food, or well, he'll say bite, but he don't want anything. Or he wants to. He says truck, but then I give him trucks and he throws them at the fucking dog.
No, he don't want the truck.
Yeah, it's like, dude. I mean, I understand that you don't have control of your emotions, but anyways, real quickly, I forgot to introduce our other compatriot, our cohort in the army against daddy sadness and ignorance. That's going to be Sam. Hey, Sam, what's going on?
Hey guys, I was having some technical issues earlier. I was in the meeting and I could watch everything. I even sent some chat messages to the group apologizing and that I was working on it. Apparently, it didn't go anywhere. I don't know. I was just a ghost in the room because I logged in like 10 minutes before we signed in and was talking and texting back and forth with Corey. So anyway, I think I got it figured out once I signed out and signed back in. So.
It worked out fine.
I'm a little late to the game, so it's all right. Bobby, thanks for joining.
What's up, Sam? Glad to see you made
it. Thank you.
I kind of do video conferences for a living for the Army, so you not being able to get on here and I couldn't fix it was giving me like itches. I'm like, I gotta get over there. I gotta get over there and fix Sam.
Oh no, were you in the Army?
No, I'm much too slow. But I've worked for him since I graduated college as an AV, IT guy, network guy.
Oh, so probably like work at Redstone Arsenal then.
Yep. Now I gotta kill you because you know that.
Oh,
it's too bad. We had such a good thing.
I could see the budding relationship growing, but now you have to murder my.
I'm really admiring his attic space there. I'm looking at something like that from my backyard or something.
It is a little bit. It took me a while to realize that it was a triangle or some form of that, but once I did, my brain stopped hurting and I was able to look past it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty old. This is what they call like a legacy home. So I think it was built in the mid to late 1800s. I think
clearly haunted.
Yeah, you know what? So far I haven't noticed anything. So
is that little girl seeing it? Does that little girl behind you see anything?
yeah. Is that little girl in dress behind you? What is she like?
Playing hopscotch for some reason.
You know, Corey fussed at me on a previous episode for changing my backgrounds again. So if it's stuck or you see something inappropriate behind me, let me know so I can change it.
I can't hear. All I hear is 1, 2. Freddy's coming for you. What is something's wrong?
Are you going to turn yourself into a cat like that lawyer during COVID? Remember the cat lawyer? I'm not a cat. I'm a real person.
No. Or talk about weird
not
stuff
a cat.
like that. Like,
oh God. I did think maybe you had been killed, or that there was some sort of tornado that had just ripped through the town. Being from
the
Arkansas,
tornado thing is plausible in this part of the states. Yeah.
Speaking of Arkansas and crazy ass things, have you ever heard of the howler?
No. I don't think I'm familiar with the story. What you got?
Well, it's the Arkansas. It's just Arkansas's Bigfoot. It's the famous Bigfoot there.
No, there is a contingency of people here that really do follow the trail of a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch like creature in this area pretty extensively, I think. I mean, they have a festival in this area, I think once a year or so. They have like some groups that kind of go out into the national forest and do some observations or try to scout out and see what they can Yeah, and they've even got some stuff I think in the southern part of the state, bordering Louisiana. Well, I guess you can get into there. I guess that's more like Rougarou country.
Yeah, the bayou.
Yeah. So, and then we've got some stuff in Texas and Oklahoma, just west of me. I'm not too familiar with that. I'm not too familiar with the paranormal or like the cryptid type stuff in Oklahoma. Just quite yet.
Those are the first people they get.
Yeah.
Those are the first people they get. You need to learn up on that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Walking in, there's nothing in this room. All of a sudden, your head flies off.
Right?
That's 101.
So, you may have seen, maybe not have seen that Bobby's from Alabama and he's got 3 kids. They're 3, 9, and 11. I don't know if you wanted to make notes on that for any for future
all
questions.
girls. Oh, let's write that down.
Hey, all right. Hey.
Very loud.
Here we go. Hang on.
There's no silence.
Check out the shirt my kids are.
If for those not watching and never will be because we don't release this video, he's showing you that he has a Datacorn t-shirt. You can maybe see that in a reel, I guess, if I'm running short of cool reels for this episode.
Yeah, thanks.
We love you. So as I normally do, I like to take the first few minutes of the episode to kind of gather myself and get over my jitters and watch someone else fumble through their words. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to Dan. Why don't you give us one of your spectacular questions that dig so deep into the human psyche there, Dan?
Right on. I am also a girl dad. I only have one. So you got me there. I love her to
make
death.
More, promise you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we can. What's the I'm gonna go dad question here. What's the biggest challenge you faced being a girl dad? Because you have girls that are quite a bit older than mine.
I don't know that I've had any challenges related to being girls other than me not being sensitive when they ask certain things. I'll be like, what are you talking about? That's not even the issue. And well, I guess my 11-year-old is the only one with any kind of like teenage, what's the word? I guess hormone problem, somebody makes them sad or they get butthurt really easy, but I don't even know I can deal with boys. So I dealt with girls so long. So I don't know if it's a challenge or it's just something I've adapted to.
Right.
But girls they have a way of spending all your money and making you proud you did it. That's probably the challenge is the money. Yeah, put me down for that. The money. They're expensive pets. They eat a lot.
Expensive pets.
Real fun though. I love taking them to do stuff that is like trying to make them not, I guess the word not girly, trying to make them not vulnerable as an older person. Like my two oldest ones do jujitsu because I don't want them to be taking advantage. And so far, there was a kid. He's not like a tiny kid, but he's a boy that lives across the street or behind us or somewhere. And you know how boys are just rough. They're built like little chimps naturally, little things. He's not like a big kid, but he was doing this. My 11-year-old's he's tall as my wife. And this kid was like doing this thing where he'd run and kind of like tackle and roll off my 11-year-old and run and tackle. He just kept doing it. She's like, you got to stop. And she did it one time and she wrapped him up and put him in an arm bar. And like, you're going to stop. And so I was like,
wow.
That's nice.
Even though the kid was about 4 years younger, but she stopped it. I said, I think we went and got ice cream and stuff after that.
Like a way to reward her without saying, that was really good. Like next time, break his arm.
You don't. I mean, the kid wasn't going to hurt her, but he was just being like. I was like, I'm glad she noticed a way to, and she didn't like go full bore. I don't know if you watch UFC, but like if you crank on an arm bar and bring it back like that, she just kind of put just a little bit of tension to where he knew that his life was threatened if he kept doing it, and he never messed with her since.
Well, could she have considered a Kimura instead?
I think she just wanted to get the message across.
Whatever was most convenient.
I think the Kimura would have involved her like getting on top of him or something. But he was doing a thing where he tackled and rolled on the ground, and the last time he rolled on the ground, she just slung her legs around. Nice. All you gotta do with arm bars, put the two legs down and pull, and so she just grabbed it.
Hey, embarrassing nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't want him to be like Ronda Rousey or anything, shave their undercut and drive a Jeep. But I don't want to get taken advantage of by some dusty kid that comes knocking either.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I see the appeal of jiu-jitsu for a girl. I was thinking boxing for my son, but I mean, depending on his size, jiu-jitsu might be better for him too.
I say you need them both because jiu-jitsu is, if somebody doesn't know jiu-jitsu, they're not going to win if they're any kind of good at it. Like you get the confidence to where you really don't have to like, oh, I don't want to make a bully mad because if a bully messes up, the bully's not going to breathe long. I mean, but you're also learn not to do it on purpose. It's like wielding a weapon. You don't do it to like, oh, I can do this. You're just like, if that dude does it again, it's going to get bad. Don't come near me.
Yeah, there's I would
say
both. I'm not against that idea. At that point, I just have to make sure that, like you said, he sticks with that martial arts idea of do not bully people, because
it really takes it out of you when you do it long enough. It kind of gets the whole anxious out of it, and you don't want to use it, honestly.
That's cool. It's good to know.
Isn't that's probably something they teach too, and it's part of the discipline aspect. I feel, in my opinion, of martial arts of like, hey,
have you ever seen Karate Kid? I mean,
well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that's a movie though.
Johnny was the villain. Not Johnny, but
Daniel was the villain. Yeah, Daniel was the villain. Hey, you could watch it now, and it's so obvious he's the villain.
He's a dick.
Yeah,
it's a dick in Cobra Kai. What's your problem, man?
I don't like him as much in Cobra Kai, but I like him more, I think, than I think maybe more than you're supposed to, because he obviously is like he makes a lot of decisions that are like really fucked up. Like I think he's seen that one kid,
Yeah.
like one of the kids. I'm not gonna spoil it, but like he makes this decision where this kid trusts him, and then like he ends up fucking the kid over. But he's like, no, it's for your own good, and like that's what I hate about like people are like, oh, you can trust me, and I'm like, no, dude, I can trust you to do what you think is best. I want you to do what's best for me when I say that this is best. That's what trust means. And so you can't trust Daniel LaRusso. He's going to do what he thinks is best because he thinks he knows better than you.
Wow, that's crazy. Because I never watched this series, the Cobra Kai thing. I didn't know anything about it. So,
He's like a
so
used car
awesome.
salesman or something.
It's so awesome.
Huh.
It
really
kind of
good.
goes all the way after. It kind of takes a dump after a couple seasons, but the first two are amazing.
really, I'll check that out.
Yeah,
It
it's
gets
so
repetitive.
good. I mean, it is just Karate Kid again and again and again.
Yeah, yeah. It's all three movies just extended out callbacks.
I'm a person that would watch, like, if they made like a Goonies TV show, I would watch, Goonies season 1 through whatever.
Okay, here's where you shut me off. The Goonies is not as good as you think it is. The Goonies is good as you remember it being. The Goonies is good as you remember it being.
Well, I've watched it within the past 5 years or so.
First of all, let's talk about. Let's break it down. How much hard drive space you got? This is going to go deep. I love doing this because it shuts people. People are like, dude, I never thought about that. Like, what the hell is a Goonie?
The name of
And
their
why
group,
do we care? Why do we? But what is it? Goonies never. Why are they Goonies?
I just assumed it was a name
Yeah.
they'd come up.
Why is the truffle shuffle funny? What's the why are we doing the truffle shuffle? There's no reference to any of it. The Goonies is a sequel to a movie they never made.
I was gonna say, so you act like they needed a prequel or something.
Goonies is Goonies 2. Where's Goonies 1? Why are those people in jail? Why do they have the Marty McFly of Jeep Cherokees?
Well, I mean, I figured it was just in media res. You jump into the good parts. All that stuff before just wasn't important.
I'm very bothered by it. There was a lot of time went by from the first time I saw the Goonies to the next time. I was just like, wait, why do we know all this stuff?
my only
Why is
real
Corey Feldman here?
because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I could run some parallels with that, with the confusing and the blurring of the timelines there.
Yeah.
Like as far as like how you transition or how you segue to a different movie in the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness timelines.
Yeah.
You ever notice how, like, if you watched Evil Dead, the original ones, like the old ones with when Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi were younger. Pardon me, dogs are barking. You look at the timeline between Evil Dead 1 and then 2. And then some of the same characters are in there, and then it almost seems like the second one was a remake of the first one. And then it jumps into Army of Darkness. Yeah, it's like the first two were the same movie, and then it goes into Army of Darkness. And then who was his girlfriend? Was it Linda or was it Susan? And how did that change? And it was, it got a little confusing there in a minute. But yeah,
I'm willing to compromise though, because Smokey and the Bandit's one of my top 5 or 10 favorite movies, and it does the same shit. You jump right in and they're acting like the Bandits is huge legend. Well, we don't know. We heard one Jerry Reed song during the credits, and we're all supposed to know the whole freaking plot of the movie. Like,
I see where they're losing you. See, this is a technique they're using to try to build up a backstory of like badassness, and
it doesn't happen. It's not there.
If you don't see that badassness, then you're like, what? I don't. He's not cool. You got to show me.
All I know is
cool.
he drug his feet. He drug his feet going down Mont Eagle, and in the pouring rain, he's poor vehicle maintenance because his air brakes lost all their air, so he didn't check his truck before he drove off. All I'm seeing is, he said old legends never die; they just lose weight. Seemed like a legend and out of work bum look a lot alike to me, Daddy. It's the same thing as the Goonies.
So theoretically, Smoking the Bandit could just be two guys that got lucky one time.
Yeah, and he was going. And anytime anybody goes to Conyers, I always mention Jerry Reed was going to Conyers instead of going on the trip. But what's I going to say? Yeah, I did the same thing you did. Lost your train of thought.
Yeah, I was going to say you're just like me.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying, Smoking the Bandit.
So do you like Smoking the Bandit 2 better, since it's basically number
They
one?
ruined it. They ruined my beloved characters.
They do that all the time. They do that. I've heard that they've done that with my indie. I'm afraid to watch the new Indiana Jones movie.
You'll like the new one. They really do him justice.
Oh, okay. So that's actually that's encouraging.
I don't think it's not as bad as Crystal Skulls.
Well, there was some concern about the heavy use of the age reversing CGI, that it was like
that was
heavy
weird.
with it.
It's like it was in GTA.
Yeah. So I mean, his face looked like he was in his 50s or his 50s, but his voice was clearly still all gravelly and at like 89, like fresh from his latest, plane wreck.
And at one point he was
that was a
running.
bad joke.
At one point he was running down a hall, and you could tell he was 90 years old.
That's
Don't
actually
do that to him.
that's on a podcast I was listening to. They were talking about how weird it was to someone told me that he looks uncomfortable, and I was like, and then the guy said he wasn't uncomfortable. He was 79, and that's
right.
That's how you run when you're 79. That's how you fight when you're 79. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if he fights, but
he's 100 years old. Cat Williams said Joe Biden's 97 years old.
Let's compare that to Michael Keaton's remake of his reprisal of his role of the original Batman back from the late 80s in the Flash movie. I wonder now for like the kick-ass, John Wick, him bouncing around doing his acrobatic martial arts stunts. It was clearly CGI and stuff, but some of the stuff with him in the mask, and I think him in the torso or the cowl, I think that was a lot of that in some of his normal motions and stuff. I think he did pretty good for his age. It looked more, it painted him more of like the Batman you see in the video games on some of the newer platforms, or like Arkham Knight or something like that, or when he's
like a big acrobat.
Yes, yeah.
I was gonna watch that. Spoiler alert, folks. Turn off your volume for a little bit. But when I learned that Batman dies, I saw zero reason to watch that because there's zero chance that I'll see him again. So, like originally, he was going to be in Batgirl, and he was going to be in like Batman Beyond, and they just killed all that. So, if something changes, then I'll probably see the movie. But otherwise, I'd just as soon jerk my meat. You can turn your volume back up, folks.
How would they hear it?
The magic of radio. They probably would have estimated around about time.
I'm
gonna turn it right back up. Jerk my meat.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping that they came right back in at jerk my meat. So
what he's going to do with that audio clip later is he's going to chop it into reels, put it on TikTok, 6 inches at a time.
Yep.
What I'm going to cut that and put it in at the end of every episode.
No, listen.
Like I do with.
I might have thought it was a reference to the Michael Keaton hit The Founder.
Was that in the movie?
He does jerk the meat. He does jerk the meat away from the McDonald's people.
Oh well. Wow, he's laughing so hard he had to mute. You apparently got his tickle spot, like wherever that happens to be. McDonald's and
the man finds masturbation hilarious.
But with that being said, Sam, do you have any thought-provoking, mind-bending questions that you could give us to start this out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Give me just 1 second.
He is talking to his daughter's listeners, all 14.
That's the reason I locked my door.
15 of you. He has muted himself. He's talking behind the camera, pointing. Just to describe the scene a little bit, he's pretty well tattooed. Got a lot of stars on his arm.
Yeah.
Some of them are filled
obviously
in.
Obviously some time in prison.
Yeah, clearly. I think if you look closely, you can see a teardrop on his face, right below his eye. He's winking. He's winking, showing us the teardrop.
His former cellmate was Jelly Roll.
I just got into Jelly Roll. I really like him.
He came to Huntsville last week. We saw him with Bert Kreischer.
He was at fucking Walmart, like just buying his CD. You gotta love a guy like that.
He's pretty cool, man.
Okay, so yeah.
All right, yeah. So he's back again.
So thank you for the fill-in ad-lib commentary stuff. I don't know if that's going to make any onto any Saturday Night Live presentations or not, but
oh, you heard all that?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh okay. Gosh, no, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. No, one of my daughters jumped in the office and she was wearing like a mask and she was trying to startle me real quick. And when she did, all the dogs rushed in and started jumping all over the place. And I was like,
worst case scenario.
Oh, so you were scared then?
It worked. No, I just didn't want anybody knocking, cameras lighting over, and
you thought it was the police dogs coming back.
Coming back,
yeah. Right. So yeah, let's get to a question. Yeah. So I got a question for our guest Bobby here.
Okay.
Hey, what's your take on painting nails? Now I know you have kids of like various ages and all the girls and stuff like that. Some of them are into that kind of fashion, some of them are not. Would you let them paint your nails, or would you
I
not?
have before.
Have you? What's your take on that?
I've had full mani pedi, bro.
Hey,
Securing my manhood. I made 3 girls. They obviously know that I'm cool with it, but
well,
I don't. I take off the finger stuff within a couple of days, just if I'm going
Right.
out. But I've left toenails on for way longer than a very hetero man should.
I
And
get it.
everybody's like, "You paint your nails?" I'm like, "What? I made 3 kids. It's okay. I have nothing to hide."
It's more sign of love than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but I have
Right.
nothing against painting your nails. I think it's cool because it tickles. I can't stand it, but they still got to do it. I really
Alright,
don't like
so-
my cubicles. I don't like when my finger cuticles get messed with, but I don't do that as much. But toes, I'm okay with.
Right.
My cubicles. I was like, wait a minute.
My
this
finger
is some-
cubicles. I have office space. I'm renting it.
It's,
Is this some-
by stapler.
Mhm.
Right on. I had, these are things that I obviously never have to think about. Dan, do you have any makeup experience? Has she gotten any interest in that sort of thing yet?
Not yet. Every time my wife gets dolled up or whatever, oh, mommy, you look pretty, but she doesn't. We haven't really done anything like that yet with her. But if when we get to that stage, I will wear it like a badge of honor. Like he said, I made this little girl. There's no question, so it's just part of it.
I'm more intrigued at what each one of those little things does in the makeup world, because I never knew what it was until I was married and then had kids. What is that thing?
Oh,
Why is there so much?
So much makeup. There's so much makeup. I don't even know where any of it starts. I don't know what you're supposed to put on first, last, in the middle. I don't know if it's supposed to come on. I don't even know how you take it off most of the time, other than I don't know, Gojo.
Oh, speaking of Gojo, I was able to utilize having 97 females in my house. So we have a Samsung washing machine, and it gets out of balance. Turns out they have like a big, 3-4 foot shock absorber, 4 of them,
Huh.
and it takes a spring so it can absorb the amount. But those go bad and kind of warp. So we had to take them out, and they have grease, like car grease mixed with Gorilla Glue inside, and it won't.
That
And it's
sounds
like
awesome.
the giant booger from hell. Like you touch one thing, it gets on. And so I found this sand peach salt scrub in the bathtub, like this, and it's basically like smelly Gojo. And I ended up just using half the jar, and it got all of it off. I was like, yeah, this is good. There's a good thing to have all these weird soaps.
That's
It smelled
awesome,
like peach Gojo. My hands were soft. They're still soft.
Soft and clean.
Hey, there you go.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I have a question. You have 3 different kids, with the last 2 being a bit further apart in age. Why 3? Did you start out with that number in mind? Have you gotten this far and just said we're good? Are you going to do 6? What's
It's
your
over.
idea there?
It's over. There was a medical issue, and they took the ability for my wife to have kids afterwards. But the third one was a planned accident, if that's work. Because we planned on, like, there's always like, we should have another kid. I'm like, let's throw away these toys. Or what if we have another kid? It just sort of worked out.
Yeah,
Like I knew you always knew in the back of my mind it was going to be another one, but I'm kind of glad it happened because she's real fun. She's like I always compare her to like a pet, and I'm unironically, because we have all the stuff and it's not hard because the other 2 girls kind of take care of her. It's kind of like bumpers. Yeah,
That's
and so it's kind of like we just go everywhere. There, she's with us, the little 3-year-old. Now she can talk, so it's kind of like having a pet chimp that can talk.
That does seem convenient to have those 2,
Yeah.
like preteen girls that probably want to take care of a little sister. Like,
Yeah, the third one's more fun.
That's I so I have
Just
to
didn't have a bed.
I have to have 2 more then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, she doesn't have a bed. She sleeps with us.
You have
hangs
to have
with
one
Alice.
now and then wait like 4 or 5 years and have another one.
The funny part is she's got really, really curly hair. I mean, just like a fro, natural fro. And somebody said that she looked like Bob Ross. I said, well, she was a happy little accident. So that works out.
All right, that's pretty cool.
It was, yeah. But
I've waffled back and forth. We were not going to do it, and we were, and then when he first started having these meltdowns, my wife was like, I can't do it. I can't deal with this again. And we haven't really discussed it since then. I told her that that's fine. You know, it's okay that, you know, if she can't do it, then she can't do it. But we will.
You'll forget about it once the other ones get sentient.
What's that? I'm sorry.
You'll forget about it when the ones you have now get sentient and turn into like actual civil people.
Well, I'm hoping that, like, see, I'm with him all day. You know, I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Love that verbiage.
I have, you know, more exposure to it than she.
You're like AI.
I feel like you guys like me and Dan could kind of like take a step back, and I could just give all the work to Sam, and he would make this work for me. Like,
oh no, not at all. I'm not the alpha male. This isn't my this ain't my rodeo, man. I'm just I
only say that because I had a notion at one point today to be like, I don't want to be the host tonight. I'm just going to make Sam do
it. so no, that's okay. Hey, you know, I think I can ad lib for a few minutes if we're looking for just a content filler or something like that.
It's all good.
So, I mean, yeah.
No,
I do have another question if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say that that pretty much answered my question though. So I was going to throw it back to one of you, and if you got something, you can take it.
Yeah, sure. Dan, you okay with that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, sure. Bobby, hey, do you have a favorite story or song that you grew up with that you share with your kids now?
Let's see. I talk a lot about well, what do we talk about? That's a stumping me here that I grew up with, a favorite story. I have like a multitude of things. Like whenever something comes up, we talk about how like my grandpa that passed away when they were about 3 or 4 years old, stuff that they did. A lot of that. And then we play like the older songs and stuff. Like the old songs we used to play, like some of the Charlie Daniels.
Some of the good stuff.
Back in the day. About stories, but it's more so of the movies I used to watch that I share with them more than anything. Like
and
last week we
like
watched
those?
Close. Yeah, well, sometimes they leave the room and break my heart. Like, I'm gonna go in here. I'm like, this is Richard Dreyfuss. How dare you? Last week I got the DVD or the Blu-ray box set of Close Encounters and was watching it, and they said this is stupid, and so I just kind of cried a little.
I've actually never seen that.
No, that's all right.
I listened to a podcast of my. It's ran by my favorite comic creator, and he talked about how he tried to share Close Encounters with his son, and that he was like going through all this rigmarole in the beginning, like telling his son that, you know, things about how slow it was and how he may not like this and he may not like that, but if he just, you know, sticks with it, that it'll be okay and he'll end up enjoying it. And actually, when it was over with, his son was like, "Dad, that was so awesome. I love that movie." And he was really surprised because, you know, the CGI and all that stuff is just not like up to the par of today's standards.
It's such a slow burn, and it's such a fulfilling slow burn.
He also
it never
said
lets
that
off.
too.
It's just
he mentioned the fact that it was like it took a long time to, you know, to build up. And I can't speak to that. I haven't ever seen it, but he mentioned that you really have to stick with it because it doesn't pay off till like right at the end.
Well, it opens up with the I don't know if you ever heard about it, but down in Tampa in the 40s or 50s, and that fleet of airplanes, the Navy, Air Force went missing. I don't know if you're in the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh fuck
They
yeah!
never found.
Talk about was it Flight 19
it was a Navy
or whatever
squadron.
it was?
Yeah, I think they kind of
Flight
debunked
19
that
maybe.
I think they did.
That's what I think it is.
But it opens up. They find those airplanes in the desert, and they're just like pristine, like it never happened. That's the first 5 minutes.
Right on.
So,
well, that would have hooked me pretty well right away.
It's a good one. I mean, I love those kind of movies. Super 8 and Stranger Things and all those things, and they came out. I was like, yes, all of it.
Well, I love Stranger Things. I love the tide of the 80s. You said you're a 90s guy, and that made me think that for and Sam mentioned it too, on our YouTube videos, we don't release the video, we just release the audio, and I will pepper in quotes from 90s and 80s movies, and the last one was Army of Darkness. So I'm always on the lookout for really quotable 80s and 90s movies.
Yeah, don't let somebody come near me with a big gulp. Big
Um,
gulps.
Big gulps.
See you later.
I have an interest in the paranormal. I'm really interested in like the more of the ghostly supernatural side of things. But man, there's something about the Bermuda Triangle that like has just hooked me from a really early age. And I don't know if one of you guys was here with me, or maybe it was Glenn. I can't remember. But we talked to a guy that he was on a plane and there was issues, and then come to find out like the issues had occurred inside the Bermuda Triangle.
It was Glenn.
Yeah.
Glenn got lost.
Okay, yeah, he didn't.
It's
even
actually
know he
one
was
of my
lost.
videos on YouTube. I clipped that out.
Right on.
Yeah.
I remember. I couldn't remember if I had seen it or if he had shared it here, but it's more than likely that he had shared it.
I bet
here.
he told it.
Yeah,
I think he did.
We always ask. Well, I say always, but some of our guests are, they don't lean in that direction. But we will sometimes ask, for someone's either most recent or most memorable paranormal experience. I guess having said that, if you want to go ahead and give us yours, we can get that out of the way.
I have less experience and more like this crazy interest. It's weird. I've always liked the subject since I was real little. I always hate when somebody told me there was no such thing. I'm like, why? That's no fun. Why would you say that? I will almost think it's offensive when somebody told me that.
I'm the same way about professional wrestling.
Yeah, I'm like, it's still real to me.
Yeah,
it's like it kills your sense of imagination before you get a chance to wrap your head around it.
I'm still a 4-year-old kid when it comes to that stuff. Like I want to hear about it. That's why my podcast turned into it. I wasn't trying to do it. I'm just like, yeah. And then they started like, I'm more, give me more. Tell me more stories. And I was a history minor in college, and that's why, because I liked hearing those kind of stories. I did really well. I just took all the history classes I could. It was like making A's in it effortlessly.
So it wasn't really like something, nothing happened to you necessarily.
Really. I read books. Watched too much TV, read books.
Yeah, that's how it was with me. Like there's this guy, he wrote books about East Tennessee and Western North Carolina, Southwest Virginia. And I read like, I don't know, all of them when I was, maybe 10. So ever since, maybe before then, I guess since I read them all, I've been really into the paranormal and that sort of thing. But haven't got that out of the way. Well, go ahead.
That author did a local tour, and he came to our schools.
Yeah, no, I remember meeting him in the library.
Right, exactly. Meeting him in the library, and he autographed our books.
I didn't actually have any at the time because I was poor. I think his name was Charles Edwin Price.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So shout out to Charles Edwin Price because he was awesome. He taught me about the Bell Witch and all kinds of local stuff.
I wonder if he's still alive.
You said that's fake?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a scam.
Oh, I'm not. I have no like that one. I really don't have an opinion on one way or the other.
Yeah,
I've kind of, the last thing I read or saw, it's blend together in my mind now, but it seemed to be children playing pranks.
Something like that.
But that being said, hey, go see it and find out for yourself. There's a cool cave that has nothing in it, and you'll probably sense no supernatural presence, but you can go see the cave.
Caveat: the Bell Witch was fake. The cave is actually haunted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the cave has some shit going on with like Indian burial grounds.
Interesting. Okay, so that maybe somebody way back when tied them together, like
it's like a plot twist.
Yeah, like a plot twist. There you go. Yeah. So after the credits, you learn the cave really is haunted.
Yeah, there's two people. I'm mixing my podcast people up. You wouldn't know him, but he is connected me with the people that are the main researchers there. I'm trying to reach out to him.
That's cool.
So I will get to the bottom of this. Plus, it's not far away from here either, so I kind of want to go up there and check it out.
I was going to say it actually might be closer to you than it is to me. It's so far away that I have really no desire to go. But I'm not. We're in. Me and Dan are in the Bristol area, and
it would be farther away, I bet.
Yeah, I could jump to the Virginia state line. So
I was just up there about 3 weeks ago or a month ago.
It comes in handy when you want to go buy legal marijuana, but other than that, so I guess I don't know. Did I cut you off or anything, Sam? I can't remember. You were speaking, and then I think you stopped speaking. Did you have something else?
No. You can edit that out. They may have been just a just a trip up on the mic or something like
I
that. I
don't
don't
know.
think I had anything important to say or anything.
Well, I'll probably edit that whole thing out just there, but other than that, I'll leave it in. So, what about you, Dan? I guess that makes it your turn then. Come with one of your wonderful dad questions, because I know you got a few planned from ahead of time that you have yet to drop like a bomb. So, pull out of your deep pockets and shed some wisdom, or make the request for some wisdom.
Right on. Now, Corey and I, like we said, we have younger kids. His is about 2, mine's was 3. We are both currently right smack dab in the middle of them not wanting to eat shit except for chicken nuggets, pizza, stuff like that. I was wondering if you encountered any of the picky eating, as we like to call it, and what you did to combat that.
Well, the 11-year-old is the one that is the picky one. The little ones eat everything. They like the pinto beans and the corn, and we just had some macaroni spaghetti. They ate that. With an 11-year-old, she wants the French fries and the Chick-fil-A for Taco Bell for every meal. Best way to do it's just kind of, I guess, because she was always a difficult one. She was the first one, so she got the presidential treatment going in. Everything was eat 10 pounds of squash. You basically have to find stuff that's healthier, and
not necessarily healthy, but healthier.
We haven't found it out yet, because she's smarter than us, so there's nothing we can do. And
yeah,
we put one of those big doorknobs on the pantry, so she couldn't get into it. It just made it easier. She made it easier to open it up. She don't use one hand then because it's big. She figured out how to squeeze it. So it's, you gotta, I guess, limit what's in the house and kind of dole it out in proportions instead of just having it everywhere. That's what our problem is. We go to Sam's and Costco, and so we just got boxes of potato chips and stuff. And so she wants one. She goes and get it like she's at a store or like a commissary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd about settle for that.
It's hard to do. You almost, contrary to popular belief, cheese isn't unhealthy, stuff like that. Cheese is actually just, it's just fat. So you got to kind of like steer them to something like that, so they don't just eat complete total preservative junk all the time.
Yeah, my house
maybe like a fruit they like. Sorry, I was like, maybe like a fruit they like or something.
Does Madison eat any fruit?
Yeah, we try to stick to more fruit than anything. I mean, she likes her, animal crackers and her sweets, but we try to give her, her favorite strawberries, and she really likes pineapple and bananas and stuff like that. So we try to keep that stuff in not constant stock, but we try to keep that as much as we can at the house. So at least we have something that's healthy and that we know she likes. And she's on the peanut butter sandwich kick lately, which is fine because peanut butter, that's her protein, and it's got a little sugar, but it's better for her than eating a freaking popsicle or something, something like that. So we've tried to, we need to limit her snacking. I think that's one of our big issues. Yeah. She likes to, she'll ask for, crackers or cookies or chips or something. And instead of fighting with her and letting her scream and holler, we just finally say, okay, whatever, hell with it. But, because after a while of hearing, it gets old, and you just want her to shut up and be happy and play or whatever. So yeah, we give in a little too easy sometimes, but we try to keep some of the healthy stuff in the house. But she won't eat, like if we make like hamburgers or something like that, we'll cut her up one, and we won't season it heavy, but it won't be just a plain hamburger patty. It'll have, a little salt, a little pepper, a little seasoning on it. And she won't even touch it. She won't even move it out of the way to get out. She just will ignore it and eat around it. So,
basically, if you can find a place that lets you pick fresh stuff, that's the best way to get them to eat more of that, get them used to the taste.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the sweet stuff you can buy now at Walmart, fruit tastes like cardboard. So it's actual sweet stuff. But if you get if you haven't had sweet stuff in a while, like I was in ketosis for like a year, and I tried a strawberry, I thought it was a Krispy Kreme. Like this is a meatball.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's if you get something like that going, like fresh peaches from an orchard, fresh. I don't know about apples because they're kind of kids are just kind of averse to apples anyway, unless they've always had them. It's hard to get them to. Hard to get them out of that habit. They have taste for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something we've I say we, it's just me. Something we've turned out. Damn it, I did it again. Edit that out. Okay, Corey.
Start over.
So yeah, awesome. All right, cool. I'll go and start over. Take 3. Something I've tried to do in my house is to kind of limit the junk food. There's a little bit here and there, not a whole lot or anything. But my oldest daughter, her biggest complaint is that the house is just a room, or like the kitchen and the pantry is just a room full of ingredients. There's nothing in there that's pre-made, like the chicken nuggets or the microwave pizza or the microwave this or the fast food or deep fried that. It's just a room full of ingredients. And I love to cook. And so that's something that I want to pass off to, skill that I want to make sure that both the kids are kind of proficient in, because when they're out on their own, they're going to need to eat. They're going to need to know how to eat, and either on the cheap or be able to make something with whatever they have available to them at the time. And so, what that does is that encourages the kids. And so, hey, if they want to make brownies, hey, guess what? We got cookbooks on the shelf. Go crack one of those open. And so they make brownies from scratch, from the flour to the sugar to the baking powder to the mixing it to the adding the different kinds of like chips and stuff like that. All those confectionaries or sweets, if they want them, then they learn how to make them, and then they do that. And there's fresh fruits there available. There's things there that, like I said, ingredients they can use. Kids are big on avocados. They like it. Sometimes they make avocado toast and eggs for breakfast. I don't eat it. I kind of get my fats from a different source. But like I said, it's there for them. The healthy choices are there for them, and when they make those healthy choices, it kind of reduces their likelihood to be a picky eater, because now they're learning something. It's fun. They're making and figuring out how to make the meals that they enjoy, themselves with the ingredients they have available. And I think that's kind of a plus sometimes, or at least that seems to work out for me here.
They do like making stuff that they made from scratch, no matter what it is, or eating it that's made from scratch.
Yeah, we did chocolate chip cookies, and I made them homemade pasta, and the pasta was made from scratch. Didn't turn out the greatest because I'm a little rusty on it, but it still turned out pretty edible. And we adjusted. The sauces was simmering all day, and when the kids get the help of it, you get to help out with that. They kind of get that sense of fulfillment. Just hey, I made this, or hey, this is really good.
Oh yeah.
Or now I'm going to remember that. And so it's a memory that you're making too with your kids that you can kind of fall back on, or you reflect on. And think fondly of later on. You're building memories, and you're teaching life skills, and you're having fun. And shit, if you mess up, just give it to the dogs, because I've messed up a lot. I've messed up a lot. There's been some atrocious things. Oh yeah, the dogs are happy. Yeah, they're not doing without.
Nope. Our dogs love eggs. Anytime the kids eat eggs, they know they're getting at least a little bit of shake after that they have left over in the plate.
Everybody loves eggs except for chickens.
Chickens love eggs as much as anybody.
Do they eat eggs?
You ever fed a chicken an egg? Dude,
No,
they go.
I've never fed a chicken.
I've fed a duck or chicken sandwich before.
Chickens will eat chicken. Chickens will eat eggs. Take a egg and throw it in the middle of a bunch of chickens, bust it. They go nuts. It's like the velociraptors on a cow. Insane. Shit you not. Try it out. Love eggs.
Bunch of fucking cannibals.
Yep. They're dinosaurs, bro. Don't forget it.
Now I feel a lot less bad about eating them by the pound.
They're just a bunch of theropods.
Now you're getting above my pay grade.
Yep.
I was an English major. I don't know. I know how to spell that, but that's about it. So not to kind of hijack things away from that sort of thing, but I wanted to throw out a concern that I'm going through right now, an issue that I have that maybe one of you have some experience with, and we'll start with Dan. If he's got nothing, then we'll move on. But Jackson has, and it may help to know that he's going to be too soon, or said that before, but Jackson has taken to really, really, really hating naps and bedtime. He will scream like I am like dragging him along and banging his head against the, everything on the way. He makes it seem like he actually screams so much that my paranormal fascination makes me think that there's some sort of evil demon in there that comes out of the closet when I step outside.
There he is. It's a 2-year-old trapped inside of his body.
He is pretty well gone to bed at around the same time, barring, a few situations here or there, but he never at the exact same time. It's like 8:30 to 9-ish for the most part. So maybe that's my problem. That being said, though, it's actually the number one thing that I personally am dealing with now, because I'm here for every time he lays down. So have any of you dealt with something like that? And obviously, if you have, how did you get strength, or what did you do to get beyond it? Dan, start with you.
We didn't really go through that, like kicking, screaming, not wanting to go to bed. I mean, she'll throw a fit, like, I don't want to, but then we'll, I'll just, like he was saying, you distract them and say, "Ooh, look, shiny," and they'll kind of come off of it.
A cow in the yard?
Yeah. But
you made me think there was a cow in the yard. You got that down.
She
What's that?
There's definitely something over there. Go on, Dan.
But no, she never really like threw a major meltdown fit. I can tell you they go through, my wife's done a shit ton of research on all this stuff. So I get bits and pieces of it, but they do go through sleep regression between 18 and 2 years old, 18 months to 24 months, where they won't sleep, or they won't sleep as long, or they'll wake up more often. And it's just part of them growing up. I mean, we went through it a few times with Madison. She didn't, like I said, she didn't throw fits. She wouldn't go to sleep, or she'll sit there and play, or she'll wake up like 3 or 4 times at night, and then she'll be hell on wheels even more than she is the next day, because she didn't get the rest she needs. But no, I never went through like the meltdown fit, so I don't really have any info.
Bobby, did you learn anything down there in Brazil?
Yeah, in the south of America.
Yeah,
in Americuno de Brazil. Melatonin.
All right.
It's that's my favorite Portuguese word. But that's like option 3. Like I wouldn't go to it directly, especially since it's 2 years old and it's just a thing. Like Dan said, you're not really the first person to go through it. But yeah, as far as that goes, and it's maybe I would say try to smoke them first, to take them for a walk, play with them, make sure they're not just anxious.
That's
but you also don't want them to get too pissed off, like overtired, because that's the worst case. That's worse. But give them a bath. A warm shower helps with the lavender.
Lavender. Didn't think about that.
Yeah. Either. But if you 2 years old, you break a 5 milligram melatonin into quarters and give her a quarter. Sometimes daddy's got to go to sleep. You guys shut the fuck up.
He will.
His house ain't gonna pay for itself. Yeah,
daddy's got to go to work tomorrow. He will eventually settle down, but man, it does sound like he's in there fighting a battle with somebody.
Yeah, you're just going through a stage. That's all that is. Yeah. I wouldn't drug him just yet.
Good to know. Any other daddy wisdom from your end there, Sam?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I got a couple things. What we've tried, and like I said, my children's mother and I had tried in the past, is sometimes we would do car rides. Like I said, they were fighting sleep. We take them on a car ride and something like that, maybe put on some music that they like, where there's some kid songs or some 80s music or just what have you. The car ride sometimes soothed them. And before we even, did 2 blocks down the street, they were out.
And then you just transferred them to the crib.
That's an option. Yeah. Yeah. Just transfer them over to the crib or to the bed or, what have you. And that was option there. Another one we would do, like what Bobby was saying, was smoke them, like wear them out, like, play, you get them to go out and run a little bit or something like that, or, play a game with them, exercise them, give them some kind of strenuous activity that's going to, kind of hopefully deplete their battery a little bit. But you guys just know as well as I do that kids just got the biggest damn battery in the world. They have unlimited
Even like a
energy. It's
stroller
hard to wear
ride
them out.
helps.
Yeah, that can
'Cause
help
it kind
too.
of just gives it their brain something to look at and take in for about 30, 40 minutes.
And
Another
for the
one.
fresh air.
And
Mhm.
I think another
Mhm.
thing is that he always goes to bed. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast being a young kid, but he always goes to bed before it's even fully dark outside. So his
Mhm.
brain's not really, getting that
That
whatever
might be part of it.
that it needs. That's just something that occurred to me now. And if I'd have thought about it, I probably wouldn't have bothered with the podcast. I'd have been like, "Yep, that's it. I figured out my problem."
Real quick before you continue, Sam, before I forget, do you take him and like every day? Do you guys play outside, or is it more of a when you feel like it, Corey?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were directing that to somebody else.
No. As far as like with him throwing a
we-
fit, not wanting to go to sleep, do you guys play outside a lot, or is it
we
just kind
we play
of
outside
here and there?
We play outside at least once a day. Sometimes it's in the morning before his first nap, and then if that is the case, I kind of let him take the lead for the second part, or for if he wants to go out the second time. I never really considered exercise, or strenuous play as an option. I always worried that would get him riled up as opposed to get him wound down.
Yeah. I always try to, like, every day that it doesn't rain, we always try to, after her nap, between nap time and bedtime, we always try to take her out and let her just fucking run around and wear herself out. We go on walks, even if it's just like halfway down the street. I mean, you know how long my street is. It's not very long, but just halfway down the street and back, like just enough for her to get some of that pent up energy out.
Mhm.
That seems to really, especially now in the summertime where it's beautiful, that really seems to help more than anything. I mean, yeah, she'll sit up and play with her little security blanket thing, but it's not long and she's out.
All right,
So,
cool. I appreciate that.
One little tip there. Maybe adjust it to, instead of before his first nap, maybe before bedtime, like that window. If you're not, I mean, I know that's supper time and all that shit, but like, even if it's for 30 minutes or 15 minutes, if you go out like a quick walk or just let him run around, like, and get some of that energy out, that might help.
I'm definitely going to try the exercise, and I'm definitely going to switch his soap to a lavender scent.
Yeah, a little lavender helps. That stuff the women buy at the specialty stores. I don't know.
Right on.
But Johnson Johnson makes lavender scented baby wash.
Okay, yeah,
and
but that's what
I used to
now.
put that in my. I used to put that in the menthol in my CPAP and wash my CPAP out with it, and so it gave me that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Almost like a dual threat.
Like a little life hack there.
Mm-hmm.
You can also put, real quick, if you get the lavender essential oil, you can put a drop or two like on his pillow and his sheets and his blanket.
That's what I was forgetting. That's what I was trying to think of.
So you don't, that's kind of a like set it and forget it kind of thing until you wash them, because it'll stay in there. I mean, you don't want to dump the whole bottle, but like a drop or two.
Just like a drop.
Yeah.
What about
like a drop or two will make me go to sleep. So
and it keeps away bugs too, spiders.
Yeah.
You guys might not know this one, but we use one of those humidifiers, to keep the air I guess unhumid. I don't know, whatever the fuck it does. But could you think you could put some lavender in that? It's just a big tank of water, and then it disperses into vapor or whatever the fuck it does.
Yeah.
Or maybe
or you could get one of those essential oil diffusers. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, we already have one of them because I live with a woman. So with that being said, we have reached quite past the halfway mark, and we are not, cut off at in 20 minutes or anything like that. But I do want to shift gears and get over to the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast and get down, on digital paper, so to speak, everything that you want to share about that. I know that you've, hit the highlights, but we don't know anything about when it comes out or anything, beyond that. So why don't you share some of that with us?
Yeah, I'd go live, usually either live or pre-recorded, but always like premiere them where you can watch it kind of live, like a live to tape. But Sundays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central. This week's going to be on Wednesday. Some weeks it's on Fridays, depending on guest availability. But it's all, if you go over to bobbydizzle.com, that's where all my channels and social medias are. Subscribe on YouTube. That's where everything goes live first. And then on Sunday mornings at midnight and Wednesday morning at midnight, I drop the audio version. So yeah, it's kind of like if one airs on Thursday, that's going to be on audio version on Sunday morning.
Right on.
Because I think that's an untapped podcast market, because there's nothing to listen to on the ride to church.
I feel
ever.
I'm the same way, bro. Like, I mean, it made me consider moving the, we drop on Wednesdays, and it made me consider moving that to the weekend, just because I don't have anything new to listen to, unless it's like, you know, Braves podcast. I don't have anything new to listen to on the weekends. And it really, the only thing stopping me was the fact that there's no point to move my podcast to the weekend just because I don't have anything to listen to. Like,
that's why I did it, because there's never anything to listen to on the weekend.
Did you notice any kind of I don't know if I don't even know if you would notice. Did you see like an improvement in listens in some way, shape, or form?
Not at first, but I think now that I'm starting to get consistency and the algorithms got me a smidge, it's starting to be about the same as the Wednesday. Because Wednesday is the Wednesday at midnight's when everybody releases. That's what the podcast hump day.
That's interesting.
That's when you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, that's when I do it too.
Which is probably just the exact opposite, because everybody's doing it.
Yeah, well, I originally did it at like, I don't know. It's always Wednesday, but originally it was just arbitrary. And then I heard someone, or I didn't hear them say shit. I read someone talking about how they used to do that too, and then they moved to midnight because they have some listeners in England, and that would be like, you know, better for them, I guess, or you know, they could have it in their morning time. So that's essentially what I did, and I have you know, I have nothing to compare it to, so I don't know if it would have worked better one way or the other. We have like we have more followers on the YouTube channel than we have on the podcast, so I'm not real sure how that worked out. Let me
ask you this: do you sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was probably just going to start rambling anyway.
Yeah, it happens. Do you use Anchor or anything?
I did originally. I use Acast now.
Well, do you have like a metrics to see what you are on every podcast app?
Basically it will show us that whether they listened on Google or Spotify or
iTunes.
Yeah, like because it will say, you know, it will tell me where they listened, and so I can determine, you know, how many from that episode. And then I think for iHeartRadio, I use I don't know, some sort of fucking podcast thing that's really popular that it tracks there. And we don't really get a lot of listeners through iHeartRadio. Like, it'll come in and say that we had like one listen that week. So I don't really pay too much attention to that one. But seems to be Spotify for the most part. And then a lot of people, oddly enough, will listen when, you know, I'll share it, and it will, if you click, this is an assumption. If you click on what I share, sometimes, or at least at one point, it sent you to Acast instead of Spotify. So I guess some people listen through the browser. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked was I went to the iTunes, I guess the analytics part for the podcasters, and it was completely different numbers than the actual Anchor metrics. Like, I was getting like 100 views on some and some more. And on the Anchor, it said I was only getting like 25 or 30.
Wow.
Like, so I don't know what qualifies. Maybe it's a different listen, but the numbers are completely different than what I had on the main RSS part.
I know that, you know, in those podcasting groups on Facebook, they tell you that if you go to Spotify for podcasters or iTunes, those are, where you're going to find your really firm numbers, because those are the one, you know, they're counting for themselves. And that sometimes I think that, you know, for Acast or what have you, Anchor, that maybe like a listen, you know, you need to listen for longer or less for it to count, you know, or what have you, so that they're counting, you know, differently. But it used to, well, I guess it still does bother me in a way, because when I, half the time when I post an episode, I don't even bother looking at the numbers, because I know that it's just going to be, you know, 20-ish more than the last week. But I personally have reached a point where this podcast is, it is what it is. We are a resource for dads. We're there if they need us. We give good content. We give good, you know, comedy, good information. and we will, as far as I can determine, be here for a while. So, maybe the word will spread, maybe it won't. If not, then there'll be 14 or 15 dads that are just fucking super dads and that, can teach a fucking village or something like that. Because as I was telling my compatriots here, I think it was last week, we are basically learning from dad masters. You guys come on here and share your top wisdom, your best tips. And then we learn from that. We take that in, and then we move on to the next guy, and we learn from him. And then eventually we are going to be the people that are, we're comfortable enough to give out that kind of information, that kind of wisdom, and know that, we got it going on, and that we are, the place that you can stop. Like, when you come to us, we're going to tell you basically how it is. And if you want another opinion, you can get it, but we're going to tell you the truth, and you take what you want from us and leave the rest, but we're not going to bullshit you. And, if we grow, we grow. And if we don't, then at least we get to talk to cool guys like you. And, I get to hang out with my friends a couple times a week and talk to them. So it's really just a win-win. I'm really thankful.
How long have you been doing it?
Well, I had a D&D podcast that started back in October, and I fucked around and tried to make it big because like the players were uninteresting, and I saw no real growth. So I was like, I'll just make it like fucking huge. I'll just get as many players as I can. And I got a player from Florida, and he plays over Facebook, and you can't hear him on the audio. So I killed that podcast. And then that transitioned into trying to do something dad related with another friend of mine. And that relationship burned out like basically 2 episodes in, and I hadn't even released them yet. Or if I had, I don't remember. I did. Okay. So
yeah,
there's no way to track it because I deleted that account, and I can't get back in there. But so I released a couple of episodes, and then retooled and brought Dan on, and then changed the name around, what was that, Dan? March, February, something like that.
Yeah, it was earlier in the year.
We just dropped episode 20 or 21. So we've been doing it basically that long. And then we did 4 episodes, bang, 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 that the audio was just shit on. So we released those. Released those and episode 1 like all at the same time. And
those 4 were like, they were like pilot episodes.
Yeah, we called them pilot episodes, or like extra content, so that people wouldn't judge us. But I mean, whatever the math is, I guess 21 divided by 4. That's how long we've been doing it.
So yeah, you're not been doing it long enough to give up.
We've been doing it quite a while, about 6-7 months.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. I just know that we definitely release every Wednesday. There's been, I think, twice that I got froggy and released a bonus episode. But beyond that, it's just whatever the numbers are. So yeah, like you said, it's not even been long enough to experience any sense of failure. We're still,
I don't consider it a failure.
No, but I mean, like,
still figuring it out.
As far as like, like I said, we really don't have this anymore. But if we had, some sort of like listenership goal, or what have you, like, we're still young enough that we don't have to worry about not reaching that yet. We especially since me and Dan have hit a real roadblock with people sharing. We share to our Facebook friends, and we will have those people supporting us or whatever, but they do not share. So it basically reaches the same people again and again, and then stops. We get good, we got all good reviews, and all of our guests, they're basically the one giving those reviews, and it it's encouraging as far as that goes. But as far as growth, those guests, most of them are not sharing either. So apparently I'm unstable, and maybe you guys missed all of that. I don't know.
We heard you.
No, we heard you.
I never know if when it comes up, if I'm like glitching, but yeah, we have hit that roadblock, and I guess eventually we will get around it. I'm trying to do that myself by being on TikTok and Instagram, and I share shorts through the YouTube channel. If you're on any of those, let me know and I'll follow you or add you or what have you, and we can, I'll share your stuff on there as well. As far as sharing, I will share this. I think I mentioned it already. I'll share when this comes out with you, and then I will, if you want, because sometimes I get a lot of them and I feel weird tagging every time. But with the reels that or the shorts, wherever you release them, they're called something different. But when I release those, I can tag you on whichever format you want, and then if you choose to, you can share as well. It's totally up to you. As far as my complaining, that's not to force you into any sort of pro your two dads activism or anything like that.
Pro bono.
Yeah. But just to let you know that you can expect that to be popping up at one point or another.
Yeah. I get it to you. Any and all sharing is good. There's the algorithm's an evil bitch.
Yeah.
Cruel mistress.
It's like just enough to make you keep doing it, but it's like not really good as far as, you really have to have the followers to get the extra views and what have you, because otherwise you can release a video of your dog pissing and it's going to get 250 views. And then you could release, the winning lottery numbers ahead of time and it's going to get 250 views. For the most part, like there are others that surprise me. But in Facebook, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just popular on there, or people are on there more because we get a lot of views on Facebook. Like almost 2,000 at a time sometimes. So if you're not releasing reels on there, that's like maybe a good way to grow things. I don't know. But with that being said, I did take kind of over that part of the conversation. Did you have anything else to get into? I know that you got into when it releases. Is there anything about what kind of people do you talk to? Like, who do you have on as guests?
I reach out. I do a lot of cold calling. I'll go to these groups that are like say called Texas Bigfoot, for example. I don't think it's a real group. Probably is. But like I'll go through the members and it'll have their name, and some people have like their interest under it. If they say like member of East Odessa Cryptid Society, just those stupid little, not stupid little bit, like it says that's like their main thing is their paranormal group. I'll send them a canned message, and it's overwhelmingly effective. I'll do 3 months at a time. But I also go what I call whaling, is I go for people who are well known, like the moderators of the groups and people who've been on Ancient Aliens and things like that. And I'll be honest, I've seen a couple of the bigger names in the field, the paranormal field, get attention, but it really doesn't matter. Like you could have Bobo from Finding Bigfoot on and get 50 views. I don't understand it. I've had really famous people on and just nothing. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is the point? What am I doing with my life?
I feel that. It's like sometimes I'm just like, was that a particularly like cool title for the episode? Like, why did that get so many views or so many listens? Like, there wasn't anything special about it.
Have you heard about the double down principle?
No.
Or the concept of doubling down. I've been doing it lately. I've noticed that I know it sounds weird when I do Bigfoot content, which for some reason is most of what I do, but the paranormal stuff will get like a third of the views, but Bigfoot stuff just keeps growing. The algo hits it. It'll grow for months at a time. So they say when you get like a show like this, if one concept works, take that and just make that your whole thing. Double down.
Like,
okay, I can feel that. Yeah.
But I get kind of burnt out on the Bigfoot stuff all the time, and so I got to sprinkle in something else because I like other stuff too.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty narrow subject, and I could see how you would need the occasional break from that.
Yeah,
even if it was like
you want to niche down, but you want to niche down, but you don't want to hate doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to be able to talk about it forever.
I mean, it's my show. I mean, I can do what I want, but I still want you to listen. But I think that when it comes to my little niche, which I consider to be finding patterns in the world of the paranormal, then especially in the cryptid and Bigfoot area, I find that if you do stuff like science, and I've had a bunch of paleontologists on, I figure that's as relevant to it as a UFO person.
Hey,
Yeah, for sure.
That's-
I mean, and it gives credibility to your podcast to have people like that on.
I love the paleontologist. I met
love that
one who
field.
does. This one guy does. It's called Paleo Prospectors, and his whole thing is. You remember on City Slickers how they went on their excursion?
Yeah.
It's like a City Slickers like excursion, except you're with paleontologists in the field in Utah and Colorado digging for actual dinosaur bones.
And they like just
That's
film the
cool.
whole
Yeah.
process.
No, you go and you get to do actual stuff guided
Oh,
by
you go with
paleontologists.
them.
Yeah, and keep what you find.
Oh, wow.
Unless you can't keep it unless if it's a scientific significance, like if you find a new iguanodon skeleton that never existed, you can't keep that because that's. But one guy, I said, have you ever had like the what's the little spoiled kid from Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka? You know, the spoiled kid. Daddy, I want the squirrel. Daddy, has you ever had the Veruca Salt of a paleontologist? He said, I never had anybody really freak out, but I did have a guy find like an 18-inch banded Clovis point from like pre-Cambrian area, not pre-Cambrian, but like the prehistoric area, the people who used to live here. And if you don't know what Clovis is, you know how other arrowheads have Cambrian. That's before dinosaurs, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's
Isn't
like
that what pre-Cambrian means?
yeah, the fish weren't around and nothing had
Yeah.
eyes. You know,
Yeah, this
insects
was,
were huge. I mean, everything lived in the water.
See, if
This
Sam
was
wasn't on here, we
Ice
wouldn't have known.
Yeah, I corrected myself though. You see, I knew what it was, but
So he did. He caught it.
yeah, but Clovis Point straight with a point at the end. And regular arrowheads you see have the arrow and then the notch for the little Clovis is made like that, and they figured out how to flute it where they could fit the piece over it and then tie it down. And they're extreme and like they're worth like as much as a car. If you find one 18-inch Clovis, and he's like, well, I don't want it. He's like, yeah, I can have it. This dude is throwing a fit over a Clovis. I would do borderline homosexual acts for a Clovis point. Borderline.
Borderline. I would go
No.
right to the line.
Yeah, I'm talking about
What you
just. I'd smell it.
I mean, it would not go. It would not go in anywhere, but it would come darn close.
I'd be like, that's totally gonorrhea, man. You have to.
Yeah, close enough to smell the disease.
Yeah. Have you ever? You know who Tyler Childers is? Any of y'all? The singer.
That sounds real familiar.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
sounds
He's from
familiar.
Kentucky. He's got a
Yeah,
song
it
called
was.
Banded Clovis, and it's about two pillheads that go out in the woods digging. And one of them finds a perfect Clovis point, and the other one shoots him and sells it for pills.
Wow.
I said if that's not the anthem to my hometown in Alabama, I don't know what is.
I'm
Right.
gonna have to look him up. Is he like
Banded Clovis?
that sounds like that rings of a humor type of music. Is he like a Wheeler Walker, like country comedy, or is it just like that one song that's when you described it sounds funny?
Now I'm thinking of Tyler Childers singing. Which one of you is gonna? No.
Yeah. Which
Some
one of you
redneck
accused is gonna?
shit.
Which one of you accused is gonna S my D? I'm actually seeing him. I'm seeing him in concert.
Pull my pecker out at Walmart and I finish him.
Yeah, man. Some of his stuff is great. Like it's dirty as hell, but like it's so catchy. Like you just find
No,
yourself.
it's not. That's not Tyler Childers though, and I kind of wish it was. Now I'm pissed off. You've
all
ruined
right,
Tyler
so
Childers for me.
that's
He's a like a real country singer from Kentucky. He's a
okay. So
But he's
that was
got
actually
good-
like a sad song. That wasn't like a
yeah.
A
It's
funny one.
serious. It's about him going out with his friend because he's fiending for pills.
okay.
And-
Yeah, that sounds
And
more
they're
country.
sifting. They're on a hunting club, digging under a ledge.
It's
it's
just
crazy. He's
darker and
good.
darker. All right. so,
His premiere song is Feather-Headed Indians. And then
well,
that's
I'm
his-
sure
he was on Yellowstone.
when I pull it up. Oh, really? Okay, I love that show. When I pull them up on Spotify, I'm sure it'll tell me the best ones.
Oh, just let it roll. You'll be
Just let it just hit play and
immersed.
let it
He's
go.
one of those things you have to immerse yourself in because the first time you're like, well, that's a good song. What is this? And then like, that's not as good. Then third time it plays, you're like, this is my song.
This is my song.
Somebody
Um,
him like, you shut up.
All right. I will definitely give him a try then.
Yeah.
Before we veer back off toward the end, did you haven't talked in a while, Sam? Did you have anything about the podcast or about Bobby that you still had to get off the tip of your tongue?
Oh no, I mean, a few things to add or anything. If he has time for it, it's no big deal.
I have all the
But
time. I'm out
hey,
of
all
coffee,
right.
but that's not a big deal.
No, I understand. Hey, coffee's life for some of us, that's for sure. But what cryptid do you feel is most plausible or most likely to exist? Other than I know you mentioned
Bigfoot, man.
Bigfoot. Yeah, you think so? Okay.
I think it's gonna sound weird. I think Bigfoot is like real as you or me. From the people I've talked to, because there's the guys that have the camo hat like I have on,
Mhm.
and they wear the little OD green and they do this in their pictures and they look mean.
Right.
And there's the guys who live on a farm somewhere close to you or me or in Minnesota, like my favorite Bigfoot witness, and they live with Bigfoot and they know that he's not a monkey that's hiding. You know, this is going to sound weird. He's paranormal. He clips in and out. And I mean, I've talked to old men who are old as our grandfathers who say the same thing
Mhm.
and can barely turn a phone on and tell me the same story. Almost like, yeah, I was out there and it went invisible on me again. I was looking at him, he went invisible. It's like, you can't just say that. Like, and they say it. There's people, I'm talking about old men who hold a phone like this.
He is putting his
And-
thumb in front of the camera, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, sorry about it. I forgot I do video and audio, so I got something for everyone. Yeah, it's
Nobody wants to see me for that long.
I had to pull myself back sometimes. I had to pull myself back out of it, because what if it's not real and they're just fucking with me? But
Mhm.
at the same time, a lot of old men in a lot of corners of the country are saying the same thing.
Interesting that you went right to how they kind of stay unseen, because that was obviously going to be my first question is,
Mhm.
you know,
Always the bodies.
yeah, what is your opinion as far as that goes? I've heard that sort of thing. I don't know if you've ever heard about it, but I listened to Last Podcast on the Left pretty religiously. And of
I
course,
love that show. I just finished the part 4 of Manhattan Project.
yeah. I either finished part 4 or 5, whatever one came out this week or this past week. Speaking of, oh no, it's Tuesday. Short side stories coming out tomorrow, so I can't wait for
Side
that.
stories.
So I'm glad to find another fan of that. But if you guys like podcasts at all, paranormal stuff, you should also listen to it. And the listeners too. I don't give out a lot of shout outs, but check out last podcast.
I would go with that one and Sam Tripoli's Tinfoil Hat podcast.
Tinfoil, is that the same type of humor?
Mm-hmm. Much dirtier.
Foil.
Yeah, he's Sam Tripoli's a Rogan guest. I've actually met him and Eddie Bravo here in Huntsville when they came. They did a tinfoil hat tour, and so they did like a live. Yeah,
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, Rogan's best friend.
Mhm.
Sounds like a professional wrestler, Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, he's a Mexican, and that's
did not expect
not relevant. It's not relevant, but he's the founder of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. He's Rogan's friend who gave him his black belt.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out too.
Big into no-gi, But yeah, he's the look into it guy. He's the flat earther guy. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to hijack you there, but I gotta give a shout out to Sam Tripoli, because it's if you like last podcast, you like Tinfoil Hat.
Right on. I don't, just to go one more on that one. If you like Western history, then you can check out How the West Was Fucked. That's a really good one.
I've heard of that one. Yeah,
it's pretty funny too. They are just they do almost no editing at all, so it's just from the moment they hit play, you're basically catching every mistake and everything. So I really applaud their honesty with that, and yours, I guess, as well, because you're not going to get that from your two dads. We cut every and we used to go even further than that, but now it's just the worst of it.
Yeah, unless it's something horrific, I don't ever cut anything.
Yeah, that I haven't. Well, I made a promise to myself that I would, give the guests words like, as uncut as I could. So I haven't had to do anything yet to break that promise, or and I don't foresee that happening, at least with the guests so far. I've got a guest coming up sometime soon. Don't remember when, and I'm not going to get any more down than that. It's not the one coming up next. So if you're next, then if you somehow find that out, then you're not the one. But I'm a little iffy about him. He shared some stuff on Facebook I'm worried about. But at the same time, I'm also interested to, get the dad side from somebody like that. I had an idea, not to really derail this, but I had an idea of trying to find serial killers that were in prison, and then like that also had kids, and try to talk to them about like dad stuff, and get like some sort of interview down with whoever, about like how they raise their kids, or advice they would give about raising kids. And never really taken that off. And now that I shared that on here, one of my 15 listeners is going to steal that idea and make $1 million with it.
That's a niche and a half there.
Yeah, it was never going to be something that I could make stand on its own, but on a dad podcast it would have worked. It would have fit in. Before we say goodbye here, Dan is going to be the one that kind of shuts us down, so to speak. But before we get there, Dan, did you have anything else for Bobby?
No.
Right on. Sam, did you have anything else for Bobby before we go our separate ways?
No, we're good to wrap it up. That's fine.
Right on. I only say this because my computer lets me know my battery saver's on. So apparently I am coming down to the wire. Bobby, anything else from you, bro?
Oh no, I'm good to go. I was going to give you my strategy on how I tried to make my podcast better.
Oh, well, if you got that real quick, give it to us.
Yeah, but like I'm really into stand-up comedians. It's like my favorite genre. That's like half of what I was doing with my podcast before it just went straight woo-woo. And that's why I do it like 3 times a week, because stand-up comedians do it. So that's why I don't edit, because I try to make myself get talented.
Yeah,
enough.
You might make
quick-witted. I try to make myself quick-witted enough to do it. So that's why I don't do it, because I make myself do it. But I try to practice my chops like a stand-up comedian. Same strategy.
Yeah, I have made it a conscious effort to maybe, just like now, take a break from speaking instead of saying and then having a long silence. There's a certain amount of growth that has happened between myself and Dan, for sure, from our first to now. And I can only hope that it's something that is not reached its peak by any means.
Definitely got a slight knack for it. It's not been a not big drop off or anything.
Well, I appreciate that. For the most part, when I have both of these guys with me, all I have to do is send whatever back and forth, and then
other people help.
Yeah, I'll let you guys carry the heavy load. It's a lot easier for me to avoid looking stupid when I have 3 other people to rely on.
Thanks.
But I sent it to Dan, as I said, for his big finale. He gives us a wonderful, a stupendous, a well thought out, all original, written only by him dad joke at the end of every episode. And if you saw it somewhere else, it's because they stole it from Dan. So
right, bastards.
Yeah, motherfuckers. So Dan, go ahead and give us a barrel full of laughs before we send everybody home.
Sorry to making me laugh.
What invention allows us to see through walls?
A gun.
That's
No.
That's a good question. I don't know.
What
No.
you got?
A window.
You motherfucker. God, you did I'm not going to tell it again, but he did this one where he was like, how do you plan a fucking space party? And I'm like,
how do you organize a space party?
And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. How do you do it? He's like, you plan it.
You plan it.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I never would have. Even if I was like, well, you plan a party, but I wouldn't have been like, you plan it. Oh man. Dad jokes make me happy and make me feel incredibly dumb all at the same time. The best ones anyways.
They'll aggravate you.
Yeah, for sure. They kind of make my stomach hurt sometimes and my dick shrink. But they make me laugh. So
it's a dad joke. It's a dad joke that did that.
Yeah, it was definitely the dad joke. It wasn't the Mountain Dew. Or the steroids. So with that out of the way, I just want to thank you again, Bobby, for coming on. You've been you've been awesome. The past 2 episodes with you, and I don't know how familiar you are with him, but with Todd, you guys have just been amazing. It's like talking.
We do a show every Saturday night. He's a guest as well.
Oh, right on.
I talk to him every now and then.
You guys were like just talking to 2 regular buddies. It wasn't even like we were doing an interview. But
no, I hate interviews. You're not interviewing me, buddy. I'm interviewing you.
Right. Hey, whatever it takes to get that content that good daddy juice that we love to spray
yeah.
all over our listeners.
Oh my God.
Daddy juice.
So, once again,
Oh.
thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for carving out this time. I know that
Yeah, man.
with 3 kids, I've said before that parents with 3 kids, they have to have superpowers. So, I applaud you for the level of patience and energy and just all around,
Hey,
sanity.
I keep plenty of these around.
Is that how you do it?
Oh, it's a monster.
Monster
Yeah.
energy, baby.
So, congratulations on that. And congratulations on raising, 3 sane, healthy, happy kids. And thank you for sharing all of that with us, and for sharing the tidbits and the tips and the advice and even the advice on the on the podcast. That'll I'll take that to heart, and as well as the tips on Jackson fighting bedtime like it's a fucking demon that he's wrestling with. But anyways, with all that out of the way, we didn't work this out prior to starting. I have this issue when there's more than one of us with signing off in a very fluid, comfortable manner. It's kind of like, hey, George, bye, George. And then I'm like, your turn, Dan. And Dan stands there and he's like, oh, you're talking to me? And then Dan finally says bye. And then Sam's like, talks over him saying bye. So anyways, I'm just going to say, Bobby, thanks again. And I will talk to you later, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks.
Bobby.
You too. Nice to meet y'all.
Yeah, you too, man.
Come back anytime, man. We'd love to
Yeah,
have you.
for
I
sure.
will.
And that's been your 2 dads. Goodbye, everybody.
Oh yeah. Do we leave now? What happens next?
I'm cutting that. I'm cutting that. That's going to go in the end of episodes now. All right.
There we go.
I want you to know it's over.
Well, bye.
You smell that, Bill? Smells like someone died.